Oh, hi there! Beginning December 31st, 2020, Flash is no longer supported by Adobe, and a week before posting this video, January 12th, Flash is completely blocked from running in browser. Since the announcement of Flash's end of life in 2017, the internet has band together to archive and preserve the tremendous legacy left behind by a platform that is responsible for some of our favorite childhood games and iconic pieces of animation. This video is an ode to Flash, particularly everything that was lost along the 25-year journey. There is so much more Lost Flash media than I have time for in this video, so let me know your favorites in the comments or on Twitter at LostMediaMike. Enjoy! Tamagotchis were digital pets that became a major toy fad in the late 90s and early 2000s. If you were in school around this time, you probably had one, or at least knew someone who had one. They were basically the fidget spinners of their day, even being banned in schools across America for how distracting they were. The devices themselves were egg-shaped handhelds where you could take care of a digital pet that you could feed, play with, discipline, and potty train while it grows up. Later versions would be more robust, but would retain the same basic principles. In 2004, the Tamagotchi Connection was released that allowed infrared connection to other Tamagotchis and interactivity with the Tamagotchi Tamatown website starting in 2006. The site had a series of Flash games that could be played to earn prizes that could be transferred to the Tamagotchi through a password system. In 2013, the website was shut down as the new model of Tamagotchi was being introduced, and the site was bought by the Tamagotchi fan community and turned into a fan site. Version 4 of the site has been archived and can be viewed on the Wayback Machine, but the site cannot be logged into since the servers are shut down. Although a number of the Flash files from the site have been recovered, it looks like our Tamagotchi will never fulfill their dreams of becoming a rock star in Music City. Like most TV shows, Cartoon Network's regular show had a pilot to pitch the series to the network. But, unlike other shows, two versions of the pilot were made before finally being picked up, the first of which made use of Flash animation and has never been released. From the handful of clips we have from the Flash pilot, it seems to share a story and voice cast with the traditionally animated pilot, leading some to believe that the two versions are exactly the same, just with different animation styles. The version of the pilot that was picked up, titled First Day, was eventually reanimated into the Season 2 episode of the same name.
Out of this complete breakfast.
Crazy good!
In 2004, Pop-Tarts started their new fever dream of a marketing campaign with the slogan Crazy good! In 2006, they released several Flash games on their website inspired by this bizarre campaign. The website featured 13 games that we know of, each using similar surreal humor and squiggly animation to the commercials. When the campaign ended in 2010, the games were removed from the site, and out of the 13 games, only one was archived and is still playable today.
The SpongeBob Cartoon Creator puts you in the director's chair where you can create your own Bikini Bottom scene.
The Nick.com game, SpongeBob Cartoon Creator, allowed users to essentially create their own SpongeBob episode. Although we don't have the official release date of the game, archives suggest that the game was released as early as 2008 in the Netherlands, before being released in English in 2009. The game allowed players to create a fish avatar and use popular characters from the TV series to make an episode. You could even share your creations on the website for others to see. Most of the characters are what you'd expect from a SpongeBob game, but for some reason they also include the one-off character Jack Kahuna Laguna, voiced by Johnny Depp from the episode SpongeBob vs. the Big One. The game was online until 2013 when it was replaced with a message implying that the game would be back someday. The SpongeBob Cartoon Creator was remade and released in 2017, but the remake had much less features than the 2008 version and ended up being more of a comic creator than a movie creator. Some of the original game has been preserved, but you can't progress after making your own fish avatar, and I couldn't get it to work at all. Fallout Quest was an 8-bit demake of Fallout 3 in the style of a Japanese role-playing game. Released January 3, 2011 in Japanese only, the Flash game was meant to promote the upcoming Fallout New Vegas. Surprisingly, the game didn't have much gameplay. One description from the Fallout fan site No Mutants Allowed said, "That game is really just an info page made to look like an 8-bit game. Each location you can select displays one aspect of the gameplay. Like for example, in the lower right corner, there's a guy begging for water, and you can select things like running away, declining, pissing him off, or just giving him some water. No matter what you choose, you get a box that explains what would happen next, and then you could try something else. Upper right corner, you get to select a skill to improve after you level up, and it says what that would do for you in the actual game, and so on. Some have speculated that the Flash game was meant to ease the Japanese audience into a Western developed game style. The game was stored server-side at Bethesda, meaning that it wasn't able to be extracted and preserved, so when the game was removed from the website after the release of New Vegas, Fallout Quest was lost. VeggieTales was an absolute staple of the late 90s and early 2000s animation. As I'm writing this right now, I can't get the Hairbrush song out of my head, a tune I probably haven't heard in decades. Back in 2011, VeggieTales.com hosted a number of Flash games, and in 2014 the site was reworked, removing all the games. 15 were made, but only 6 have been preserved. Fill-A-Train, Rescue Sweet Pea, Veggie Football, Tilt-A-Pea, Veggie Bounce, and Veggie Drop. But both Veggie Football and Rescue Sweet Pea have no audio in the recovered versions, leaving 9 VeggieTales games still lost. Timberwolf was the last project worked on by Chuck Jones before his death in 2002. Jones is best known for writing, directing, and producing some of Looney Tunes' most iconic shorts, numerous Tom and Jerry episodes, and the animated Dr. Seuss adaptations of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Horton Hears a Who, and Cat in the Hat. Timberwolf ran briefly on the Warner Brothers website from 2001 to 2002 with only 13 episodes being released, all of which have been archived. But according to Jones's protege, Stephen Fossati, there were 6 episodes completely finished that were postponed due to Jones's passing and eventually cancelled. To postpone the episodes makes sense, but to never release the final works of one of animation's great directors is a travesty that needs to be corrected.
Gotta go fast.
The Blocks is a Canadian video game developer known for his Sonic fan games, particularly the Tails Nightmare series, which he posted to Newgrounds, a popular site to post independent Flash games. While creating Tails Nightmare, he released 2 demos for the game, Tails Cosmic Rush 1 and 2. Even though they share the same title, the 2 games are very different. The first demo is similar to a runner, and the second plays more like a traditional 2D Sonic level. The first demo can still be played today, but the second demo was lost sometime between 2015 and 17, even to the Blocks himself, who could no longer find the Flash files. No one has ever come forward with the game, and until the files are found, all we have is this low quality video of the game being played.
Dude, I just redid the place.
Gusher's bedroom makeover sweepstakes. It's a blast.
To promote the 2005 Gushers Redo Your Room sweepstakes that would give the winner a dope new bedroom, Gushers released a Flash game that would allow you to customize your own digital dream room. Once logging into the site, you could enter codes found on special packs of Gushers for new items to decorate the room with. Even though the sweepstakes probably ended in 2005, the website and game were functional until 2009. All that was recovered from the site were a few screenshots of old rooms, 2 archive pages of the game that both lead to black screens, and a few looping tracks of music which you've been listening to over this segment. In addition to the lost games, I can't find who actually won the sweepstakes. If anyone can find who won, I would love to hear about their experience and what their room ended up looking like. The 2008 PS3 game Little Big Planet was a platformer with an emphasis on user-generated content such as creating your own levels and customizing your character called Sackboy. To promote the upcoming title, Sony released a Flash game through the website mysackboy.com where you could create your own Sackboy and share it with others. By 2011, the site was taken down and had not been archived. Only a few screenshots and 2 videos of My Sackboy still exist. Do you have a picture of your Sackboy? Announced in 2009, Kid Thulu was a game developed by Psychosis91, The Waves, and Ed Gould of Eddsworld for the Newgrounds Power of 3 event, where an artist, musician, and programmer would team up to create a game. Kid Thulu was going to be in the style of Mega Man, with a young Cthulhu as the protagonist, but the Newgrounds event came and went with no game being released. Ed Gould would die in 2012 of cancer, and following the 2016 Eddsworld video, The End, Psychosis posted about his time working with Ed, stating that the game was cancelled because he was starting college and Ed wanted to focus on Eddsworld. In his post, he also said that of the game's 6 levels, 3 of them were finished before the project was scrapped. In 2020, the new showrunner of Eddsworld, Matt Lobster, said he found a test version of the game and it may be released through the Eddsworld Patreon page. Hopefully, it's only a matter of time before Kid Thulu is released to the public. The 2005 Kids WB series, Johnny Test, follows the adventures of Johnny, who is basically a guinea pig for the experiments of his super genius sisters. A year before the series was picked up, a pilot was created using Flash animation that has since been lost. Just like the pilot for regular show, the Johnny Test Flash pilot was remade into an episode of the show, but the original Flash version has never been released. This pilot seems to use an entirely different voice cast. Only the voice of Johnny, played by James Arnold Taylor, returned for the final series. Interestingly, the first season of the show used traditional animation until the second season, where they moved back to Flash animation to cut cost. All we have from the unreleased pilot is the promo for the show and a single screenshot. Released by CNK Digital in 2011, Looney Tunes Click and Read Phonics is an edutainment program meant to help kids learn to read. 10 original Looney Tunes shorts were made to accompany the program, posted on the Looney Tunes Phonics website. While you can still buy the Phonics program, the Flash elements of the site were removed in 2019, likely because CNK Digital went out of business. Of the 10 episodes, we only know the names of 5. 24-Hour Days, A Minor Problem, Roadrunner Short, Build a Better Birdcage, and Bunny Brunch. Of these 5 known shorts, we only have clips of the latter 3. Super Monkey Ball Mini was a Flash game made by Sega to promote the 2001 game Super Monkey Ball. While the Flash game is very simple, it's actually fairly accurate to the general feel of the GameCube game, using the mouse to tilt the level to get to the end. The game was removed in the mid-2000s and was lost until 2017 when the game was discovered by Lost Media Wiki user Pico. However, on all versions of the recovered game, after the 9th level, the game is stuck on a loading screen, leading to speculation that there is a 10th level that was never recovered, making the game still partially lost. I played the game for myself, and sure enough, after beating the 9th level, the game won't progress. This could just be an error in returning the player to the home screen, or it could mean that there was a hidden 10th level that was not archived. Horrors on the High Sea was a Flash game made in 2004 to promote the movie Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. The game was voiced by the cast of What's New Scooby-Doo, which was airing at the time. While the gameplay was mediocre, it's obvious a ton of work went into the voice acting and cutscenes because they look just as good as the TV show. The game's 4 chapters can be easily played online, and there are numerous playthroughs on YouTube, but no available version includes the prologue cutscene. This cutscene used to play over the game's start menu, but every version we currently have begins at the start menu, skipping over this scene. Without this scene, the game starts with Scooby and Shaggy alone on a cruise ship, but the prologue fills in the gaps like why Velma, Fred, and Daphne aren't there and how they got their tickets. From 2003 to 2009, the Nick Jr. and Noggin websites hosted a series of coloring books called Scribblevision. In these virtual coloring books, players would color pictures and see their artwork come to life in animated stories, either through a self-contained single page or across multiple pages depending on how many pictures were colored. There were 7 Scribblevision games made: Moose and Z, Ubi, Franklin, and 4 generic Scribblevision games, 1 for each season. In 2009, the Nick Jr. and Noggin sites were merged, leading to most of the games being removed. All of the game's pages were archived on archive.org, but specific files required to play the games were not, making all of the games unplayable.
How will you create the universe? Download the free Spore Creature Creator at Spore.com.
Released in 2009, Spore 2D was a Flash game based on the 2008 title Spore, meant to promote the upcoming spin-off Spore Hero. Like the other Spore titles, this Flash game involved designing and growing a creature, and as your creation leveled up, you would get more parts to customize them with. The game was removed in 2012 and the Flash files were recovered, but they're missing a critical XML file that, unless found, leaves the game unplayable. There have since been attempts to find the missing file through the Wayback Machine and using Flash decompilers, but the search has grown cold, making it unlikely that the game will ever be played again.
In the late 1930s, when the founders of Dairy Queen were experimenting with their newly invented soft-serve ice cream.
In 2008, Dairy Queen launched a new ad campaign targeted towards kids featuring their new mascot, Deeks. As part of this campaign, Dairy Queen created a game where kids could make their own Deek and customize their world. Players could play mini-games to win virtual and real-world prizes like Dairy Queen coupons. One of the games on the site included a sort of story mode which involved finding and protecting lost Deeks. In 2013, the Deeks world was closed without warning and was replaced with 3 Flash games: Blender's Fruit Fury, Grilla's Vintage Puzzle, and Spooner's Soft Serve Mountain. In 2017, these games were also removed and never saved, making both the Deek virtual world and the Flash games that replaced it lost. Released in 2014, Besame La Panache was a Peruvian Flash series that received largely negative attention for being a cheap knockoff of the Mexican Flash series Vete a la Verge, created by Dakar Alatriz. After the negative reception, the creator of Besame La Panache backtracked, claiming the show was a parody, but around 2016 they removed all episodes from their channel. Only 2 episodes from the show have been found, along with clips that come from a very negative review of the series. In January 2020, the series was reimagined into Kiss Me Panachita, which seems to have been received much better, but currently only has a single 2-minute episode. Whirl Girl was a superhero web series on the Showtime website from 1997 to the early 2000s, about a reluctant superhero fighting the evil MediaTek empire in the year 2077. Originally starting as a webcomic, Whirl Girl became arguably the first Flash animated series to reach mainstream success, being the first to have a regular schedule, a national ad campaign to promote it, the first to simultaneously premiere on TV and online, and the first Flash series to reach over 100 episodes. Despite the show being very successful, almost all of the 100+ episodes are lost, with only a handful of episodes and a few web pages being archived. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your suggestions for future videos in the comments or on Twitter, and let me know your favorite Flash games or TV shows. It doesn't even have to be Lost. I would just love to hear the impact Flash had on your life. This is Mike with All Things Lost. See you soon.